Israelis are starting massive fires in Argentina to exploit a loophole recently placed by the Zionist government into Argentinian law. Protected rural and conserved land can now be sold to foreign private entities once a fire passes through. This means that pristine world treasures like the Patagonia lose their legal protection and can be sold to Zionists. This is pure evil.
What we've seen from these soldiers in Patagonia is that they behave as if they didn't need to respect the laws of Argentina. And then they are very rude to people. They can walk into a supermarket and start eating food without paying, for example, because they know there won't be any local authority to tell them anything, because they have political backing behind them.
Former IDF soldiers are burning down the forest, the Patagonia forest of Argentina and Chile, because if they don't burn it down, someone else might do it first. I'm not making this up. If you've seen the news, Argentina is burning. Argentina's burning. Milei cut firefighting. Javier Milei, the president of Argentina, who, 24 hours after getting elected, converted to Judaism, and he became like one of the Chabad, Lubavitch, sect. He went to Israel and kissed the Wailing Wall, and actually he passionately cried while kissing the Wailing Wall. His last name is actually Milikowski. Fun fact, so is Netanyahu's last name. Benjamin Netanyahu's real last name is Milikowski. Funner fact, they're actually distant cousins, if you can believe that. Javier Milei and Netanyahu are distant cousins. Does it begin to add up when you see that Javier Milei, he got elected, and previously, not a good administration, but like at least they weren't indebting themselves $40 billion to the IMF and sending all the gold to British Airways jets to sit in the City of London banks, right? That's what Javier Milei did when he got elected. For the first time in 2 decades, Argentina experienced net negative foreign investment. Argentina, they hit like 68% poverty last year. The Argentine peso devalued to a point we haven't seen in decades. Milei took like a $40 billion IMF loan. The country's already in debt to the IMF. Took a $40 billion IMF loan, sent all their gold bars on British Airways jets to the Bank of London. This is the free market libertarian genius Javier Milei, right?
Adelante, Mariano.
Massive fires in Argentina. This comes after Javier Milei cut the firefighting service by 69%. Now more than 50,000 acres of Patagonia forest have burned while firefighters run for their lives. That seems a bit odd. Javier Milei cut the firefighting service by nearly 70%, and then magically we have these massive fires that start raging in Patagonia. Well, let's not be conspiracy theorists, right? Let's actually get to the facts about what's going on here. This is odd. Firefighters in Patagonia posted video evidence proving that what little equipment they still had has been sabotaged. Yes, someone came through and literally destroyed and drained all of the pipes, all of the water infrastructure, chemical infrastructure of the firefighting teams in Patagonia and Argentina. That's odd, isn't it? I wonder who would have done that. I wonder. 2 Israeli tourists, reportedly IDF soldiers, started a fire to burn down a protected forest in Argentina. The police are currently hunting for them. Israeli tourists caught using huge fires in Argentina in a forest full of natural resources. An Israeli tourist was caught, they filmed themselves, geniuses. An Israeli tourist was caught lighting fires in Los Glaciares National Park in the Argentinian Patagonia a couple days ago. Now, Argentinian authorities are reporting that they found M26 IM grenades used by the Israeli military spread around Lake Epuen in Chubut as well. Oh, they're leaving their trace. They use IDF grenades there. And now we see the Argentine presidential spokesman just blew the lid on what was actually happening. Manuel Adorni, the Argentine presidential spokesman, says that Israelis are starting massive fires in Argentina to exploit a loophole recently placed by the Zionist government into Argentinian law. Protected rural and conserved land can now be sold to foreign private entities once a fire passes through. This means that pristine world treasures like the Patagonia lose their legal protection and can be sold to Zionists. This is pure evil. Adam writes, I was attacked when I said Milei was bad news and to never trust their Zionist politician. Milei has given away his people's gold and now their land. If I don't burn it, someone else will. If I don't take his home, someone else will. If I don't burn down the Argentine Patagonia forest to build a Four Seasons resort, someone else will. Take a listen to this clip from the Gray Zone. Under Javier Milei, Argentina has given out state benefits to Israeli expats, while Patagonia has become a haven for ex-IDF soldiers fearing Gaza war crimes charges. As Patagonia burns, journalist Sebastian Salgado recalls how Israelis set fires in the region. Isn't that crazy? Where did Nazi war criminals go after World War II? Argentina. Now, Israeli war criminals, amidst the genocide, are fleeing to Argentina, same country.
So, what we've seen from these soldiers in Patagonia is that they behave as if they didn't need to respect the laws of Argentina. And then they are very rude to people. They can walk into a supermarket and start eating food without paying, for example, because they know there won't be any local authority to tell them anything, because they have political backing behind them, to say the least. And several things have drawn attention in that regard. One is that we were in Patagonia this summer, where there were very important fires, very, very important in Patagonia, right on the trails where these Israeli soldiers walk. And part of the paradox is that fires always start in Patagonia near waterways. So President Milei changed the land law and the forest law so that any foreigner could buy land in Argentina right now. And he removed the forest law, through which, if a part of a forest burns down beforehand, it couldn't be sold for 20 years. So that prevented intentional fires from starting, because if someone had a piece of native forest, let's say fine, someone else could set it on fire and come and offer it much cheaper, when in reality, they keep the land, and it's still next to a waterway. So far, Oscar, there has been only one case in which a person has been found setting forest fires in Patagonia, and it was on the Chilean side, right? It was a forest of more than 15,000 hectares in the Torres del Paine National Park, and it was indeed an Israeli soldier. The soldier's name is Ritter Singer. He acknowledged that he had deliberately set fire to the Torres del Paine National Park, but the Zionist lobby within the Chilean judiciary got them fined only 7,500 euros. Plus, in recent weeks, a long-standing theme has been confirmed. In Argentina, Israeli citizens will be able to have all the same rights as Argentine citizens and even collect a pension from the Argentine pension system, even if they've never worked here, and even if they don't even live in Argentina. In other words, the Argentine pension system will start supporting Israeli retirees. It's as crazy as you're hearing it.
So, I remember back in had to have been 2023. I was on this libertarian podcast with some of the people that work, I believe, with Tim Pool. It was like people associated with him, but they're on the show a lot and stuff. Anyways, I went on the podcast, and everyone's like, oh, Javier Milei is so base. And I was like debating these libertarians about like, no, actually Javier Milei is not base. Actually, this is not going to be good. It was right when he was elected. I'm like, actually, no, this is not good. This is going to be a train wreck for more reasons than I can even count. And well, you know, time vindicates us all, or it doesn't, But yeah, basically, you now have Javier Milei allowing his country to be burned down so Israelis, IDF war criminals can come in and buy up the land, skirting the legal norms. And he's changing the official law of these protected forests to give it away to Israelis, and just allowing Israelis to disregard, even basic laws like paying for stuff in a grocery store, of course, avoiding war criminal charges, and now they're going to receive pensions. Even though they've never lived in Argentina, never worked there, they don't do anything there, they're going to be receiving pensions. That is the total collapse of your sovereignty. And it only took a few years. So amazing work. Did it very fast. Argentina, you're cooked. You're cooked. You need to get this Milei guy out of there. 100% get him out of there. You're cooked. It's the end of your country. It's done. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.